From the Detroit Free Press in the heart of the Motor City, it's Tuesday, August 11th. Here are today's top stories. Presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer. For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Tad Davis. Reporting during the pandemic is forever changing, from news statistics to updated case numbers. But how are all these changes affecting sports reporting? News last week and this week focused on how college football and so many other sports will play their fall seasons. I spoke with Detroit Free Press sports columnist Sean Windsor about the ever-changing reporting happening in sports right now, specifically yesterday's news on the Big Ten. Why don't you just go ahead and walk me through when you heard the news of the Big Ten canceling?
Well, what I heard was not that the Big Ten had canceled, but that the Big Ten was going to cancel, that the school presidents had gotten together and taken a vote. The Free Press reported that they were going to cancel. And in any case, I've written a lot about this lately. I mean, just over the weekend, I'd written one about the Mid-American Conference shutting down its season. So I started thinking about that and what that meant and kind of looking at the reaction. Jim Harbaugh, Michigan's coach, came out with a statement fairly soon. And then just kind of the players speaking out, politicians starting to get involved. President Trump tweeted, a couple of senators, including a senator from Nebraska, a senator from Georgia, all Republicans who were saying, hey, let's have a season, kind of acting like the players were being held hostage. So I'm just trying to make sense of that. But at the same time, the Big Ten, it hadn't been fully confirmed that they were to cancel the season. There was no announcement. So we're kind of waiting and waiting. And as you're waiting, you're trying to think about, you're looking at the reaction, the news of what's happening. I'm trying to think about what I want to say, what this means. But you're kind of on hold because, you don't have that final confirmation. So late afternoon comes around, reports start to surface that maybe the Big Ten is going to postpone the season. Then we hear maybe they're not going to postpone it, and then, that some of the sources are doubling down that they are going to cancel. So at that point, Dad, I just decided I had to come up with something that was sort of outside what the news was going to be. In other words, just kind of write a little bit about the chaos of the day, the back and forth. But more than that, just the reaction and how much we love college football, that people would jump in, that the president would jump in, that senators would jump in, all these people making their cases. It's just sort of a reflection of where we're at. And so that's why I decided to try to write about a little bit just how divided we are and how college football kind of represents that.
Kind of to frame this, it is Monday night, 10 p.m.
It's Monday? Yeah.
Are you still working on the column now?
Well, I just reworked some of it. We had the first edition out for print. Because it had changed so much, the news was in such flux all day and into the evening. The second edition, I'm getting edited as we speak. I just turned in the second draft, so to speak. So second draft is done, and it sounds like things are still up in the air about Big Ten. So going through your second edition, getting edited, what do you believe we should expect out of the Big Ten? Well, I don't know. I know there's still a lot of medical people that are worried in the Big Ten and just don't think it's safe enough. So they're in a tough spot, and I don't know. I'll be really interested to see if the backlash today, if the pressure from the politicians, from the coaches who really lobbied hard. A lot of big name coaches around the country took to Twitter and social media, issued statements, had press conferences, pushing back saying we need a season. Let us have our season. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to that. No other conference kind of jumped out there with them. The Big Ten's kind of on their own at this point, so we'll see. I'm not sure what to expect at this point. This morning I thought they probably would cancel, but who knows at this point.
Sean, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, sure, Tad.
To stay updated on all the changes happening in Big Ten football, be sure to head to freep.com.
This is Todd Spangler, Washington correspondent for the Detroit Free Press. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer's name is being thrown around again as a possible running mate for Democrat Joe Biden. That's after the Associated Press reported that Whitmer flew to Delaware to meet with Biden. It's not known what they talked about. But Whitmer has some advantages as a running mate. Michigan is still considered a battleground state, and she has done well in the past attracting women voters. She has also made her mark sparring with President Trump. Biden, though, is under some pressure to pick a woman of color as his vice presidential nominee. That's especially true given this summer's protests against police brutality. Whatever choice Biden makes, he's expected to make it soon, ahead of the Democratic convention next week.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.